My name is Matipaishe Mavunga. I'm 21 years old and I'm a spoken word artist, a poet. I started spoken word when I was 14 years old. And that time for me, spoken word was basically for school competitions or leaving the school premises. But over time, during my advanced levels, when I actually started venturing studying literature, that is when I started appreciating the art of poetry, the message it spoke. That's when I really decided to give my all into poetry. And I'm an individual who believes in the power of words to share on societal ill in order to eliminate on hope and love. Because you may discover that we're living in a broken society, in a broken world, where wrong has been normalized while right has been shunned away. So I believe poetry gives me that room to share the little hope that is left within people to spark it again. So I think that is basically how I recognized my poetry. Okay, I do spoken word because I love it. I love it, and it makes me feel like it gives me the room to share my ideas on what I think, as well as to just illuminate on the little hope that I have. For instance, let me talk about the way everything that I do to make it easier. For instance, I mentioned that I do poetry because I want to share hope. And then I'm also currently studying a Bachelor of Honors degree in social work. Therefore, I believe that my poetry is not only on paper or on video, but it's also acted in my career. So that's how I would want to pursue my poetry as well as with my life. I'm also the communications officer for the Varsity Mental Health Champions Club on campus, University of Zimbabwe, where we acknowledge the existence and the presence of the need to help young people who are facing mental health problems. So it all comes back to my poetry as well, the poetry that I write or that I perform, that in my poetry, I'm not only writing, but I'm also acting out the part. I'm also, it is recently that I actually won an award for the Poetry Red Carpet Awards 2024 for Promising Artist of the Year. And I believe that that on its own is a stepping stone for the greater journey of what I want to achieve in the next 9 years from now. That is to become a recognized youth ambassador for mental health for young people. Okay, I believe that I've learned to be patient in the sense that there's some certain things that I hoped to achieve, that I wanted to achieve, but I guess it wasn't according to God's time. Because every time that I've come across an opportunity, be it I going to it or it coming to me, it wasn't according to my time. It was a time whereby I'd given up thinking that as a person who had started poetry since 14 and now I'm 21, I thought God would have given me some opportunities a bit earlier. Therefore, I've really learned to be patient because everything that I've gone through in my life, the opportunities that have come my way, it has been God throughout. So I've really learned patience, and with patience, you're able to listen. So you're not only delivering the message of hope, but you're also listening to what God wants you to then speak to the society, if that makes sense. So it was in 2021 when I went to Star FM. It was because of the whole mental health thing as well. It was under teenzim.com under Coach Tafaz, where we had to talk about teenage dating. So yeah, that is the first time I had an interview on Star FM. Then you realize that everything that I do or that I did opened another opportunity for me. It was through that I was actually recognized by someone, and they're like, you know what if I want you to come at ZBC for the Young Gifted and Talented show so that we interview you on your journey for poetry. You mentioned that you do poetry. So that is the interview that I had gone to. That was in 2022 by then. Then this year I had to go for another interview for the Zim Papers Television Network, where I had to share again more on my journey as a poet, my beliefs, and the messages that I would want to bring out to the society. So I can say that everything that I do or everything that comes in my life opens another door and another door, and here I am. So, yeah. Okay, God has been playing the biggest role in my life because, firstly, I believe that this gift comes from Him. I'm able to speak because of Him. I even believe that these ideas also come from Him. And I also believe that the confidence comes from Him because every single time I always pray that God, please give me the confidence because I don't have it. So I believe that without God, I'm as good as an empty vessel. So God plays the hugest part in my poetry career, even in my personal life. Okay. So I really hope to see myself as a person who would have grown better in the professional world. That is, of course, having to have graduated, as well as somebody closer to being recognized as that youth ambassador for Hope for Life for young people. Because I really feel like the generation we're now living in is a different generation from the one that people older than us yes lived. So I want to be that I want to be that part of hope or that goodness that people haven't seen or that people believe still doesn't exist, because I just find this world a little broken and people just normalizing what is not normal anymore. So I would want to take part in that. So I really hope to have achieved my dreams and having grown a little better to the greater journey that God may have for me. What do I like about it? Yeah. Okay, in the arts industry, I think one thing I would say I like about is that there's so much creativity in it. There's diversity, and with the diversity comes with unique talents, unique people, different cultures, and respecting them as well. However, on the other side, I feel like it is an industry where it is very difficult to rise up for people to see and to appreciate your work, especially as a poet. Because I feel like getting the opportunities, because I believe I used to think that I would get these opportunities maybe when I was in my middle 17s, 18s, or even 20. But you discover that you really have to work hard. You really have to work hard for people to recognize you and to also appreciate you, because in the poetry industry, not everybody understands poetry, not everybody understands its relevance. So when you live in a society where it's like that, you discover that you may have little or no motivation to keep you going, to push you to continue pursuing in your dream. Therefore, it really needs hard work, persistence, and using the little people, making use of the little of the people, the small circle that supports you to keep on going. Because I can say that I've heard so many cases where I wanted to stop writing, but when I stopped writing, that is when I can say God gave me the motivation or the inspiration to write. For instance, someone could just come and say, you know what, I've seen your piece on Instagram, I liked it, and ABCD. So you realize that that motivation will keep you going.